And there we go.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to our latest creator live chat. I am Kelci D. Crawford. I make comics. Today, I am joined by independent author and also good friend, Sean McGavin, author of Danse, Macabre and Other Works, which is available now at crowdfunder.com/FVille Pop Shop. Link is also in the doobly-doo. Today, I wanted to bring Sean on the stream so that we could talk about the writing of this book, the behind-the-scenes stuff for it, and anything else, and answer any questions that you might have in the chat. So first, Sean, how are we doing tonight?
I'm all right. Doing pretty good. I'm in North Carolina. I'm a citizen of the Toledo area along with Kelci here. But right now I am in lovely North Carolina with visiting family for the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yes. Yeah, this year I'm not going to be doing in-person Thanksgiving stuff, but I do intend on doing a lot of like baking and cooking on that day. I have stuff on hand to do homemade bread, so many chocolate chip cookies, and a few other things. I'm hoping to make some mashed sweet potatoes this year. Yeah. Well,
do you do brown sugar and marshmallows, or just brown sugar?
I try to add in the marshmallows when I can, but if the marshmallows are not available, definitely brown sugar minimum.
Yeah, we always do just brown sugar and cinnamon here.
Yeah, honestly, cinnamon is also a really good call for mashed sweet potatoes.
Oh yeah, oh yes.
Yeah. And I am apparently the only one in this apartment that eats cranberries, so I just got a little. I know. What? I know. Blasphemy.
No, cranberries are awesome. Who's saying?
Oh, I know. Cranberries are great. I love cranberries. They grew on me. I didn't used to like them, but I really, really like tart fruits.
Oh no, I always when I was much younger, when we go to visit my grandmother's for Christmas and New Year's, she always made cranberry sauce, and that was always one of my favorite parts.
Homemade cranberry sauce does sound really good.
Cranberry sauce, dried cranberries, cranberry soda, cranberry ale. Give it all to me. I love it.
Sorry, my brain just went to the shrimp bits from Forrest Gump, just like shrimp gumbo, shrimp pasta.
I do love shrimp everything too. So
I do also love shrimp everything. Cranberries and shrimp. I don't know.
Maybe not those two together. But...
Yeah, maybe not those two together. But shrimp anything, cranberry anything. That honestly, that'd be a hell of a dinner. A hell of a Thanksgiving dinner is to include shrimp.
Maybe I'll propose shrimp and grits as a side dish next year.
There you go. Yeah, I like that. Hello, the Los. Bring up. Did you have to let it linger?
Depends how tart it was.
I know. Actually, this is a segue to one of the first questions that I wanted to ask you, because I know you offline primarily as a musician. Because I mean, since I've known you, you've been an absolute like metalhead. Love music.
We gave it away.
Yeah, I know. But like music of just about any form. And I know that you are part of a Irish folk group right now.
Correct.
Called the Jolly Gabbers.
Correct.
I'll also highly recommend y'all check out the Jolly Gabbers. They are fantastic.
The only recording we have so far is during lockdown. We did a remotely recorded 3-song Christmas EP. So it's a bit rough, but it's not too bad. But there are videos of us on our Facebook as well. We keep talking about making an album. I'm pushing for one, and it sounds like they both are too. So fingers crossed we can get that on, because I really like to get an album out.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you haven't moved forward on that yet, because you do a lot of live shows in the area.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, you're just too busy with all the live shows that you haven't had time to sit down for an actual studio recording.
We definitely might be too busy.
Yeah, I mean, y'all have like full-time jobs on top of being musicians.
Yeah, so, don't we ever?
Yeah. So how did you find the time to work on Danse Macabre and other works? Because this, I would not have pegged you for being an author. But when you were telling me about this particular short story collection, I was like, well, color me intrigued. So how did you find the time to write this, and what got the spark going to make it happen?
Believe it or not, the spark that, because I mean, I've always also been a voracious reader ever since I was a child.
Yeah.
And I've done some like, school writing projects and stuff. Of a couple of blogs in the early days of things like Live Journal and Hub Pages and things like that.
I remember those, yeah.
But the spark that kicked me off writing stories seriously was actually the movie The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Really?
I saw it in theaters and I absolutely adored it. I thought it was one of the most creative and original films I'd seen in a very long time. I wasn't that familiar with Wes Anderson's work at that point.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm much more versed in his stuff now, but back then that his particular brand of weird but wonderful was a bit new to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know it doesn't seem related to anything in the book, but it was just that seeing something so creatively unique kind of got me in the mood to start doing stuff again.
Gotcha. Like kind of stretching your creative limits.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I could see that. I've only seen one Wes Anderson film so far, and that was actually for a film class back when you and I were still going to BGSU. Yeah. That's also how we know each other, is we went to college together.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. A lot of the folks who are collaborating with me on this pop-up shop are people that I know from college days. But there's nothing wrong with that. But the film class, we looked at the Royal Tenenbaums. And I don't remember too much about the filmmaking, except for how it liked to use like composition, like everything is meticulous in its composition in the shot. I remember that was one of the reasons why we looked at the film. But one of the other reasons I very much remember this movie is that it was the one movie that the entire auditorium of students started to pack up and leave 5 minutes before the film was over.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, on the one hand, I kind of got it because the pace was kind of sluggish. But on the other hand, like, still not a great look.
Yeah, you know what? If I could sit through Signs, they could have sat through that.
Yeah, exactly. That was kind of my thinking, and I had sat through Signs like multiple times up to that point. At that point, I was like, this isn't even the slowest or most sluggish movie that I've ever had to sit through.
Yeah, I had to sit through Signs and an intro to philosophy through film.
Oh boy.
Of course. And you know what? I finished it.
I could see that being a intro to philosophy, like.
Oh, I got it.
Film.
I just didn't like the movie.
Oh no, the movie's awful. Like, it's interesting as far as an M. Night Shyamalan movie goes, but it's not great. Yeah.
So for anyone watching, your first two takeaways: see Grand Budapest Hotel. Don't bother with Signs.
I think most people with good taste would agree. So, talking about the book again, I'm surprised that you mentioned the Grand Budapest Hotel as a source of inspiration, because this is a lot of dark fantasy stuff.
Yes. Well, like I said, it wasn't an inspiration in terms of style or theme or anything like that. It was just, I just so loved seeing something that creative that I wasn't expecting. Because like I said, I was not familiar with Anderson's work at that point. I wanted to see it because the cast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ralph Fiennes, Owen Wilson, Willem Dafoe, Jeff Goldblum, Bill Murray, all these people who I adored.
Yeah.
In one spot.
Mm-hmm.
And in the trailer, it kind of made me laugh.
Okay.
And so it was just, I wasn't really sure what to expect. And then at the end of it, I was so blown away.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just the artistry of it that I kind of, it kicked off the urge to start creating something of my own again.
Nice. Yeah.
Even if I still wear my influences on my sleeve.
You know, on your actual sleeves, because it looks like you got a rock tee on.
I do.
Yeah.
I saw Foreigner with Loverboy earlier this year. It was a really cool show.
Ooh, dope. Yeah. Yeah, you were the one that introduced me to Jonathan Young and
Galactic Kraken.
Yes, and Galactic Kraken. And I am blanking on the name of these folks, even though I have like 2 of their songs on my playlist. Glory Hammer. That's it. Yes. You were the one that introduced me to Glory Hammer, which
awesome band.
Amazing band. Love them so much. Yes, them and Galactic Kraken. I still need to check out more of the Galactic Kraken catalog. But
they only have 1 album out so far. I pray that there'll be more because I love that album.
Yeah. I mean, if the 2 songs that I have heard are any indication, the entire album has to be a banger.
It is.
Yeah. By the way, for folks who have never seen it, you are depriving yourself if you have not seen Starship Velociraptor, the music video. Seek it out.
Yes.
It's so good.
Yes.
I was actually listening to it earlier today while working on comics.
Absolute classic in every respect.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay, going back to the book, actually.
Yes.
So I know that you and I have been talking about possibly getting more out in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So what role do you see books playing? Do you think that they would become like a ever-growing, like, oh yes, this is what I want to do? Or is it more like, I think this would be a fun little excursion while focusing on this other thing that's important to me?
I would absolutely love it if writing became my primary source of income. I don't foresee that. I don't want to say I'm cynical about it. I try to be pragmatic. I don't have as good of an output of ideas as someone like you.
Please do not compare yourself to me. Please don't.
And so I try to be like, I have tons of ideas that I'm currently writing down and working on. I'm not to get any expectations of right now, but if all goes well, I may have another thing ready for you. If not by the end of this year, by the early next year for sure.
Fingers crossed, because I'd love to see it.
As would I. I think this will definitely be a different turn from what Danse Macabre was, but I think it'd be really fun.
I'm looking forward to it because you mentioned it's a continuation of one of the short stories.
Actually, no, this is a whole different thing. I kind of put that on the back burner because I had another idea that came to me much quicker.
Ooh, so, we like quick ideas.
It's the writing itself is actually already done.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's a different type of format that I need to get other things in place for, and I did it somewhat in collaboration with another friend of mine who I need to get her sign off on things because
Mm-hmm.
You know, I plan to have her name on it. I want to make sure she's happy with how it turned out as well.
Is this the you mentioned a kid's book at one point?
Yes.
Is this the kid's book?
Yes.
Awesome. I would love to take a look at that.
And to be clear, it's not specifically a kid's book, but it is a picture book in verse.
Ooh.
So but yeah, it came to me rather quickly and just kind of happened. So I kind of diverted attention to that. But I do have a continuation of the stories that I'm still working on and had a few other ideas since then. So there is more coming. I just don't know if it's something. I mean, if something took off in such a way that I could focus on writing full time, I'm sure I could. I think I've got enough ideas that I could continue to pump things out if that's what I was doing full time.
Right.
But
I mean,
that would need to be a viable source of income full time for that to be a thing.
I mean, you could do what my buddy Stephen Hines does, which is he is a comics writer, but he is also a punk rock musician while still also working full time as a teacher.
You know, he would not be the first teacher in a punk band that I've met.
Okay. I mean, who else have you met?
Oh, I knew I had a bunch of professors who were in bands, several of them more on the punk side of things. A guy I took guitar lessons from years ago was in you remember them, Downtown Brown.
You've mentioned them. I did not realize that the guitarist was a professor.
He was not an official professor, but he did.
Oh,
he
but
was
like a college level instructor
for many years. Who I took a lesson from back in the day.
Nice.
It does not surprise me that he is also a teacher. Somehow that is not an uncommon thing in my experience.
There's just something about having to work within the education system that makes you want to rail against it.
I have heard that.
Yeah.
I've known a lot of teachers in general, and that does seem to be a common thing.
Yep. Ditto and ditto. And some of the stories that Stephen has told me, I'm just like, yeah, I can see why you write the comics that you do and make the music that you make. It's not that it's a bad thing. It's just very telling.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I have to ask because I know that I know you listen to a lot of different types of music. What is the weirdest genre that you've come across?
That is a tough question.
Yeah. Mostly I've wanted to ask because I'm gonna have to forward this to you, but I'm part of Canon Wright Productions as well, and we had a little like co-working space happen on Discord not too long ago, and one of the artists brought up a Japanese ska jazz band. And it was one of the strangest collections of sounds that I had heard for a while. It was music, but it was definitely funky.
Because see, I know there's a lot of bands I know that have done very weird albums.
Yeah.
Like, I know they're one of the biggest bands in the world now, but Slipknot's first ever recording before Corey Taylor was even in the band, for those of you who know about that particular recording, it's very heavy, but it is experimental as all get out. I also know there's a death metal band called Atheist, whose third album and second album, actually to a degree, also incorporated, of all things, jazz and samba influence.
Oh my God, I need to listen to this now.
And I'd say if I had to say a band that had a consistently weird genre, it would have to be polka ska metal.
I need to know who this is.
I think I may have showed you them before. Ruskaya.
I feel like you might have, because that rings a bell.
That's Russkaja. Think of a band that has horns, does polka breakdowns, is also a lot of metal and punk influence, and then also has lyrics in like the first song I ever heard of them, the lyrics are in English, German, and Russian.
Okay. Lots of influences here.
Somehow they pull it off. And it's goofy. It is utterly bizarre, but I genuinely love them. I have a few albums of theirs. I really love them.
I have to give them a listen because I feel like I might have heard like one song of theirs like 10 years ago. So I have to check them out again.
If anyone listening wants a band that will give you a I don't know what I'm listening to, but I like it experience, Ruskaya.
And that's Russkaja. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go. Recommendation. You're welcome. I mean, this is why people watch these streams, right? Is to get the music recommendations.
Right. Yeah.
That's why they're going to watch this one. Yep. Because you and I could talk about music for days. I mean, we have tried the route of co-hosting podcasts before.
We did. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. You and I worked on. We did one episode of like clothespins and hand grenades, and then we were talking about possibly doing another one. Yes, but we can figure that out offline.
Yes,
because like I would still love to do like some kind of music podcast with you. Just because I find it fascinating, especially because growing up I was the kid that like, if something came on the radio, my family would be like, "Hey, Kelci, who did this song?" And I would be able to answer them right away. Yeah. I was the kind of resident music expert.
I can see that.
Yeah. And I can tell the music difference between different performers to an extent. But after a while, I think it was like college-ish that I kind of fell off the wagon a little bit and slowly honing the ear again. That said, if I could recommend a band to you,
yes,
because this was actually a recommendation from one of my other podcast buddies. There's a band called Meet Me at symbol The Altar. They are a all black led emo girl group. They were like one of the like opening acts for, I think it was Fall Out Boy. Love their stuff though. Like real good stuff.
All right. I will give them a look.
Yeah, I wanted to give them a shout out because I mean, I love their sound. It's very, I say emo, but it is very pop punk in a way.
Well, if they were opening for Fall Out Boy, I think I can get an idea of what the sound was.
Yeah.
Which is not a jab. I like Fall Out Boy.
Oh no, absolutely not. Because like, have you heard the lyrics that Fall Out Boy sings? I don't know how the lyricist does it, but
no, they were. I was definitely part of that group in my high school days.
Same. One of my old high school buddies listened to Coheed and Cambria, and that was how I discovered that. I
listened to them for the first time in years a few days ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were one. I only have one album of theirs, but I remember back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were a band I'd found through Guitar Hero.
I think
it was a rock band. It might have been a rock band. It was one of them things.
I think I know what song it was. It was probably the one that was on the radio a lot that they did.
Welcome Home.
I think so. Yeah. I have that whole album, and that was my first introduction to what a concept album was.
Ah, that's a good one to start with.
Yeah, because like the entire thing is like based around a concept. I don't remember what the concept is, but
If I remember correctly, it was the singer
Hmm.
had basically written a whole story, because I think it was one of the interesting things about them was their first like 6 or 7 albums were all centered around the same story that the
yes,
singer had come up with.
mm-hmm. Something like that. Yeah, like they had this entire like I don't know why oeuvre is the first word that comes to mind, but like an entire oeuvre that they focused on for like the first like 6 or 7 albums.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know
Mm-hmm.
recently they've gone more the route of just kind of straightforward songwriting.
Did they run out of concepts?
I don't know.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't even know why I thought to listen to them, but I did.
Yeah.
Got me thinking maybe I should start listening to more of them again.
Oh my god, I need to introduce you to. They came across my dash because say what you will about TikTok, but TikTok did introduce me to a mashup of the Macarena and Stupefy. Yes.
Okay.
This exists. It is such an earworm. It gets stuck in my head so easily.
Okay. I will
I'll send you the link. I have it. But
please do. I am intrigued.
Yeah. First discovered them because another friend of mine sent me somebody did a cover of that song on their drum set. And I was like, ooh, okay. Did not realize that they had the same like RPM, but this kind of makes sense. And then found the actual mashup on YouTube. And then it turns out that dude does a whole bunch of different mashups. Like there's the one that's been an earworm lately has been a mashup of 9 Inch Nails, the band that does Fire, and David Bowie. And I'm gonna have to send you the link to that one because that one is also really good. The actual like mashup artist who thinks to come up with these things, they go by the YouTube username Bill McClintock or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a bunch of these. He also did a mashup of he did a mashup of like reggae and Rage Against the Machine. It was also really interesting.
I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll send you the links to both of those because
Please
like
do.
yeah, they have both been like earworms easily stuck in my head the last few times that I've heard them. Other music group that I can recommend. Very different genre from everything that we've been talking about.
Go for it.
Tune-Yards. Have you heard of these folks?
TOON or TUNEN?
TUNE.
All right.
Yeah.
Tune-Yards.
Yeah, Tune-Yards. I really recommend them. As far as like a first song goes, Water Fountain is a really good track of theirs. The first track of theirs I ever heard was Business, BIZNESS. So if honestly, Business is a really good indication of the kind of like rhythms that they compose for their songs. But every song that I have heard of theirs has been a banger. Yeah.
Good to know.
I'm not sure how to describe their sound though. Because like the rhythms that they do are not straightforward 4/4 or 3/4. These are very percussion driven compositions. Like I'm pretty sure the person who writes these songs, Meryl, I'm pretty sure they're a percussionist.
All right.
Yeah. So like very much that vibe. Very good stuff. Highly recommend Tune-Yards. To give you an idea of maybe the kind of vibe that they are, first time I ever heard them was at the Lunar Station.
Ah.
Yeah.
Say no more.
Yeah, I don't know if Lunar Station is a national chain or if it's just in Ohio, but for folks who may have no idea, Lunar Station is almost a head shop.
Almost.
But they have to have the veneer of, oh, we stock things for college students. Because up until recently, weed was illegal in Ohio.
Yeah, funny thing that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, God bless the weed. Anyways. Yes. So, real quick, mid-episode plug. This is a reminder that this book, Danse, Macabre, and Other Works, was written by Sean here. If I can point correctly, there we go. Written by Sean, and it is available now at crowdfunder.com/Fville Pop Shop. Link on the screen and in the doobly-doo if you would like to get a copy of this. Actually, I wanted to mention, this is one of the few, like, straight-up prose books that we have in stock. A good chunk of the stuff that we have available is comics and graphic novels, as well as some prints and totes. And all of that is available until December 1st. So we are taking orders until December 1st. Also, if you're in the Toledo or Bowling Green, Ohio area, I just got the confirmation I will be making an in-person appearance at Ice Tier in Bowling Green, Ohio this Saturday. And I will be showcasing all of the stuff that is available in the pop shop, including Danse, Macabre, and Other Works.
Also, you should just go to Ice Tier in general. They're a great place.
They are a great place. Ice Tier is a local... Would it be fair to call them a craft brewery or just a brewery?
Yes.
Yeah, because they craft their own brews.
And they are very crafty with them.
Yes. They are also like tabletop RPG themed. A lot of it is Dungeons and Dragons. Like if you are struggling to make a choice of drink, you can roll a D8 and have that dice choose for you. It's great. Yeah.
Yep. Kelci can tell you I am anyone who's a regular, they will tell you I am a very frequent customer.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I've talked with the folks who are behind the counter, and like sometimes we talk about you, all good things, I promise.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, they can attest that you are there a lot. Not that it's a bad thing.
Nope. And good thing, because it's not stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, support your local breweries, peeps. Because your local breweries often love their indie creators. I know Ice Tier does, because Ice Tier carries your book, some of my stuff, as well as some stuff for a podcast that maybe you knew him, maybe you didn't. Chase Greenlee.
I think I met him a couple of times because he went to BG, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely met him
about the same time that you and I did. Yeah,
yeah, I definitely met him a couple of times.
Yeah, he co-hosts, if not being the GM for Another Path, the D&D podcast. So there's some merch for that also at Ice Tier Brewing.
They may be collabing on another brew soon, actually.
Really? I had not heard about this. Okay. Do you have any idea of what the flavors might be?
Nope. Other than that, it might be weird.
Okay. What was their last collaboration? What was the flavors?
I think it was an IPA of some kind, but it had something weird about it. I don't remember. This was ages ago. Okay. Like back in Ice Tier was pretty new.
Gotcha.
Another Path were one of their first big supporters.
Gotcha. I wondered how it was that they got to know each other, because Another Path and Ice Tier have been like borderline partners since I first discovered Ice Tier.
It's because I don't know if Chris, the owner, and them knew each other beforehand, but I do know that another path has shouted out and supported and collabed with Ice Tier on several occasions now.
Nice. Yeah. And now Ice Tier has made an annual tradition of doing Ice Tier Con, which I was unable to make this year because of back injury, but it has since healed. I say back injury, but really what it was an agitation of a previous injury. Because I broke my tailbone like 20 plus years ago and just kind of like learned to live with it. And it only started to become painful in the last like few weeks.
Yikes.
It's annoying. I don't like it.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. That's why I got I actually got this on recommendation from Stephen Hines because he also has had to deal with broken tailbone shenanigans. There is a special cushion that you can actually get at Rite Aid. Highly recommend this. This has been a game changer. This is actually curved out so that your tailbone doesn't have to sit on a cushion, that there's no pressure on it. It can just kind of like hang out. But you'll still have the support on the rest of your thighs.
I imagine that is very helpful.
It is a game changer. I am not in immense amounts of pain anymore. It's great.
I am very glad to hear that.
Yeah. Also helps that I have a standing desk. This has also been super helpful.
Yeah, I need to look at investing in one of those.
They are a chunk of change. I think.
I know.
Yeah, I think the one that I got was one of the more basic ones, and even that was like $300, but that was a couple years ago. Probably gotten even more expensive since then. I'm not sure, but
I'm sure.
Yeah, but if you are able to get one, I do recommend them. They are great. They do have a bit of a weight limit though because of the engine that's on the underside. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, I would not recommend like sitting on these things. Yeah. Standing desks, not designed for you to sit on their surface.
The standing desk is not designed for sitting, you don't say.
Mm-hmm. Nah. You can't sit at them and you can't sit on them.
Who would have thunk it?
I mean, the standing desk that I have has little buttons on the side here that I can like maneuver them as I need to. But yeah, it's funny. I have two desks and neither one can have a weight limit. I can't have anything over 180 pounds on these things. Yeah, weight limits. Well, one's a standing desk. The other one has a glass surface on it. Because it's my drafting table.
Shenanigans in furniture.
Shenanigans in furniture. You could say buffoonery in furniture, even.
You could.
Mm-hmm. I feel like buffoonery in furniture could be the name of a zine.
Could be.
Could be. Like you could be browsing Culture Clash records in downtown Toledo and just come across buffoonery in furniture. And it would be like some like weird tall tale of like, you know, people crashing on other people's couches during punk rock tours.
That could be that could be fun actually.
It could be. Potential collab idea. I know it's usually the Los who throws out ideas in these live streams, but here I am being like, how about? Yeah, seriously, I mentioned this earlier, but please don't use me as a barometer of comparison for like being able to spit out ideas. Honestly, don't use me as a barometer for a comparison for much of anything. Please don't.
If you say so.
In seriousness and in sincerity, please don't. Yeah, I am weird.
Well, most people who've read my book say the same thing about me, so.
I mean, in fairness, though, I really liked Danse Macabre. Otherwise, I wouldn't have helped you get this book out into the world.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Because also, fun fact, I did the cover art for this.
Yes, you
in
did.
case anybody is looking at it and being like, this art looks kind of familiar, especially since I've checked out this YouTube channel. Yeah, I did the cover art.
And did a wonderful job, by the way.
Thank you. I wanted to design this with actually like online listings in mind, because I had done a couple of like cover designs for like Amazon and such before.
Mm-hmm.
And I also designed the covers for my own comics. And I was like, well, we need to have something that's going to have a really distinct shape and silhouette so that it can stand out from the other stuff that's in the store. And I feel like this actually did the trick. And I also wanted to have the kind of, I don't know if you can tell this, but there's, if you kind of squint from a distance, there is a kind of like skull motif.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, that was on purpose. Yeah.
It worked well.
It did. It actually turned out really well. I'm so glad that it came out well in print. So yeah. Also gotta say, did not think you to be a poet, and yet a lot of the poems that made it in here are actually quite good. Highly recommend.
Thank you.
Yes. I think my favorite is probably Scarecrow Man. Or
that's the one I am most happy to finally have in print, because actually I wrote that one a long time ago, and had been shopping it around for a while.
Yeah.
So that's one of the ones I was most happy to finally get out.
Nice. I also did, maybe you caught it, maybe you didn't, but I did do a live read of The Catacombs on a previous live stream.
I think I missed that one, but thank you. I'm flattered.
Yeah. The Catacombs was, I'm pretty sure I did that live read on the it's an archived live stream, so it is available for replay. But it is the opening ceremony of sorts for the holiday pop-up shop. Yeah, it's the live stream where it's like, hey, I'm opening a pop-up shop, including this, and I read The Catacombs for that one. Which Catacombs were great.
I was working that night. That's right.
That's okay. Like I said, it's available as a replay. For folks who are watching this live or on the replay, that's on the YouTube channel. Link below. If there are any questions that y'all may have, because I just saw the time, I would like to give a minute or two if y'all have any questions for Sean or myself, but especially Sean. Feel free to post those in the live chat, and we will get to those before we wrap up the stream. I wanted to get that out there at like quarter till the hour, just to make sure everybody's got the time that they need to pose the questions that they want to ask.
Yep.
Yeah. I asked a bunch of the questions that I wanted to ask you for this stream. But as far as making music goes, because I know we've talked about this before offline, where making music was one of the like major things that you really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still in the cards? Do you want to do more of that?
Oh yeah.
Or
no, I still do it, and I do also still write music and stuff in my spare on the side. I haven't put much out yet, but I do still write music as well.
Gotcha.
And maybe as I get better at recording it, I'll put more of it out. But
sure. I've always wanted to ask, what instruments do you play?
Guitar, bass,
okay,
drums,
okay,
banjo, bodhrán, which is an Irish hand drum.
Yes.
A little bit of harmonica.
Okay.
Tiny bit of tin whistle.
Okay.
Timpani drums. Trombone. ukulele,
Okay.
and I own a lute. I'm not that good on it yet.
Yet being the operative word.
Well, it's a beautiful instrument, and I'd love to be able to do it better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your band, the Jolly Gabbers, have you done Ren fairs yet? I feel like you have.
No, we have not, but we would love to. I think that would be just all kinds of fun.
Yeah, no, I might know somebody who you can get in touch with about possibly getting Jolly Gabbers in at a Ren fair. I'll see if I can reach out to them and we can get that figured out.
That would be lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what extent or what powers they may have to do that, because I know that they primarily do like costume work, and they have the license to do like, they're basically a fencing instructor for youths. So a lot of the stuff that they do is in the like SCA Ren Fair circuit. So
gotcha.
Yeah, we will see what happens. I at least know somebody.
I would welcome that.
Cool. We can talk about that post stream.
Yes.
You know what? Do you have any questions for me? I feel like that would be a fun question to ask. Do you got any questions for me?
Which of your works are you most proud of?
Right now, The Legend of Jamie Roberts. I didn't think to pull a copy on hand because I didn't think I was going to get asked this question, but no, The Legend of Jamie Roberts is the thing that I'm most proud of right now. Not just because it's the newest thing, but because I love hearing and seeing and listening to people's reactions when they read it, and knowing that it's inspiring so many different reactions out of people, a lot of them positive, does make me feel great. It's also just, I'm having a lot of fun drawing it, and every page that I finish, I feel like I'm getting better making the story as I'm working on it. Yeah. Actually, wonderful. Which of these short stories in here do you think would be the one that you have the most pride in?
The title one, for sure.
Danse Macabre.
So yeah. The selection for the stories I picked for this were all ones that my grandparents, who I dedicate the book to, had read it before they passed.
Oh.
So part of how I picked which ones, because I had a couple of other ones that I've written, and either that I didn't think they were as good or they didn't fit the format. But the driving factor was that those were ones that everything in that book they got, while I hadn't published it before they passed, those are all ones that they got to read.
Yeah. And
give me directly their thoughts on. And
gotcha.
I valued their opinions very much. And that was one that my grandmother in particular said she had a particular fondness for.
Oh.
So it was kind of getting the grandma's seal of approval, and grandpa, he liked it too.
You heard it here, folks. Danse Macabre and Other Works, the Dark Fantasy Collection, has the grandma and grandpa seal of approval.
In fact, the little blurb in the front.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Caw, caw, I need my corn to get my fill, even if against the mean farmer's will.
That was something I don't know which one of them wrote it, because they signed it, both of them, but they sent that back in response to when I sent them Scarecrow Man.
I love it. That's great. Oh my gosh.
That was why I wanted to put it on the book as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. You know, this is the first that I have heard that you sent these stories to your grandparents for feedback. I did not know that about this book, but that's great.
They were also very literary people, so.
Mm-hmm. I mean, with that banger of an opening quote, yes. That is such a great opening quote.
So,
all right. Yes.
So I'd say it's a toss up between that one and Scarecrow Man. Scarecrow Man, because at the risk of sounding arrogant, I really like that one. And I was trying to get it out for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And then the titular story, because my grandparents liked it a lot and I valued their input on it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm willing to say worth it because, like, Scarecrow Man is my favorite poem out of the bunch. I've mentioned it before. I'll mention it again. Boys is still one of my favorite short stories, period. And that is in here. So, just get this book, y'all. It's so good. It's got some good stuff in here. Okay, so we are nearing the top of the hour. I think we're getting towards the end of the stream. Say it ain't so.
That went by quick.
I know. Well, I mean, you and I can pass the time real fast, like
True.
Just catching up. It's great. So, but thank you so much for taking the time to be on stream with me, my dude.
Well, thank you for having me, and of course, thank you for all the assistance you've given me on the book.
Yes. Yes, because I did help a lot with the behind the scenes stuff. But it's beautiful and it's in print and it is available now. This is the obligatory plug part of the stream. It is available now at crowdfunder.com/FVille Pop Shop. It is the first ever Fantasyville Holiday Pop-Up Shop. And there's also a link in the description. We are taking orders for the Pop Shop until December 1st. We are taking orders until December 1st. Then at December 1st, we are closing up so that we can get all the orders sent out in time for Christmas.
Which, by the way, since I live close to Kelci, who has all the books, if you buy a book and would like me to personalize it at all, let me know.
Absolutely. Signed by the author, even. Le Gasp.
Signed and badly doodled in, if you like.
What are you talking about? I love your doodles.
You have not seen that many of them, then.
Looking forward to seeing more. Yeah. Also, yours is one of many books that's going to be personalized by the author. There's another book, Melancholy Evil Pop-Tart, that also has the author signature. Yes, that's the name of the book.
I know. I like that title.
It's really good. Oh man, I have some copies left. There are 6 copies left of that one. There are, I believe, 9 copies left of this last I counted, because we sold a couple of these. So yay.
Very nice.
Yeah. Good. Also, shout out to Crowdfunder because they highlighted the Holiday Pop-Up Shop as a staff pick. It's on their front page. I know.
Cool is that?
Yeah, I know. Shout out to Crowdfunder. Thank you, Crowdfunder, for highlighting our Holiday Pop-Up Shop. So, again, this Danse, Macabre, and Other Work, written by Sean McGavin here, is available at crowdfunder.com/FVille Pop Shop, a staff pick on Crowdfunder. So be sure to check it out. Check out the other books that we have on hand. We also have tote bags and other goodies. And again, we are taking orders until December 1st. Thank you, folks who joined us in the live chat, and also those of you who were lurking while we were working. Shout out to all of you, even if you want to be seen as like live stream ghosties, that's totally okay. Thank you, Sean, for joining me on tonight's stream. And yes, and thank you all for watching. You are awesome.
See you, everybody.